All right, everybody. So, I've been thinking a lot for a long time. I've been very stressed out for many months. It's essentially fucked with my whole summer, and I'm pissed off about that. Um, and it's something I've had a lot of time to think about, something that I've juggled around for a long time. And I'm going to commit to it here soon. Unfortunately, I honestly believe that the environment that I am in prevents me from A, liking, and B, continuing to maintain success. I'll give you a quick lowdown, of course, and vague generalities of the place that I work at. I work at an acid facility, acid manufacturing facility that also packages the acid. Basically, a lot of chemical solvent companies, get a contract through us, and we produce stuff for them. All types of acid, any type of acid you can pretty much think about. Most of my experience is with hydrofluoric acid, which is actually commercially banned from sale in Canada. And probably most other Western countries, and probably most other countries in the world, honestly. It's a horrible acid that likes to strip the calcium from your body, destroys nerves, super toxic, can cause a heart attack. And I sit next to probably close to 1,200 gallon silos of them most days. But there's hydrochloric, there's sulfuric, rather, phosphoric acid. There's a lot of that. There's also bleach, yada yada yada. Right. I started working this job March 20th of 2023. I was 26 years old, came in from probably at the lowest point of my life, was desperately looking for a change of wind. My personal life, kind of moved in here after a breakup, was not happy, was kind of just working odd temp jobs to get by, like seasonal work. And at the same time, during that breakup, I had left my previous career. So I was like adjusting to taking such like a probably over a $7-8 pay cut. And just sucked, Never felt like I had stability, honestly, until I worked at this place, but also never feel like I have stability at this place at the same time. Honest paradox. But I have a long story there. I just did everything I was told to do by my stepmother and my father, who are both, combined, they probably have almost 60 years of experience in a steel mill setting, so I figured that's probably like the creme de la creme of advice to take from, right? They said, shut up, keep your head down for a while, like, don't start speaking up a little bit till maybe you're like 6 months in. Just be the new guy, be the yes guy for a while. It's gonna suck, but just say yes. So I did for a while, and then they bumped me up to like an assistant line lead training. And I was in that for like 3 months, but then they demoted my original line and assistant line lead. And then I was held in this limbo period, and then they threw us through this 2 month training period that made me feel reduced to like a first day idiotic employee. And I think that was the sentiment with everyone. I feel like you could possibly make a case legally. Like, I feel like, because the gist, like, you had all these positions on the line, and if you scored this score or above, you would get a colored sticker, and if you got all of them, you got this green sticker on your badge for a while. So with that, I feel like people would start to feel some type of way, like they're being singled out for not being like the best at every position, and I feel like maybe that's why they stopped doing it. But it has got to be one of the most tiresome places I've tried to keep up with. I mean, guys have really worked hard for that promotion, and they stripped me away from it, right? I didn't even get the promotion. I was still in training. Proved myself again, waded through the shit test and the bullshit. Another line lead picks me up and they say, look, I want you to be my second. And I say, yes, of course. And now I'm a second, so I finally officially bumped myself into that position. And I'm just one step closer, to my final month of being an assistant line lead when I'm on the line lead training. They pair me with this guy. And I remember this guy when he first started working here in like October. I didn't think much of him. He was somewhat quiet and to himself for the most part. But I just knew the guy was a piece of shit. And I knew if he got bumped up in any capacity, he was going to be a nightmare. But I couldn't do nothing about it, He was learning well and technically doing the job right. Then I didn't see him for a couple months and he got promoted, Honestly, it felt like a slap in the face. Felt like a slap in the face that certain people got promotions much faster than I did. And 3/4 of them didn't last. I remember it was really early March this year, and I was still a second, an assistant. And this guy, who wasn't even an assistant lead yet, was just asked straight up if he wanted to be a line lead. And I knew the guy wasn't going to work out. I knew he wasn't, and I felt some type of way about it. No, actually, it was about an entire week before me. Yeah, I was frustrated. I had tears in my eyes watching that guy, like, getting shown around the line, and I was like, I want that position so hard, I keep proving myself so hard. And I finally got it, and they ran me through a gang of shit tests again. And I failed, and I got a 3-day suspension, then I built myself back up. Then shit got really scary around Memorial Day this year. This is when it started to feel a little unbearable. So, the Thursday before Memorial Day weekend, I was, the plant was slow. And people were starting to get nervous, And I always really tried to look out for people. But after that time, it's way too risky. It can only be if I really know and trust the person. Because there was a group of temps, and they were all kind of just, talking, and they're like, we're really, we don't know what to do, and we don't want to look like we're doing nothing and get fired. And I'm like, look, you guys really should be just, pretend to wipe stuff down. It's really about looking busy right now because, stuff's slow, money's not coming in. That somehow got turned into someone saying they're going to lay us off. And then that turned into like a day-wide hunt for me over a Chinese telephone comment. I didn't even really say nothing. I don't really want to talk about the company so much as my experience, because I feel like I'm kind of getting long-winded here. But here's the deal. They laid everybody off the next day. Like, all these people that were coming from a specific temp agency, they laid off. I found out the night before. I probably was the only person that knew going in that day. And basically, I got a call from one of my crew when I was a line lead, right? And I still am currently. And he's crying, you know. He's like, I just got a call from my temp agency saying my assignment ended, and that so-and-so, one of the bigwigs, said that there's just no work right now. And he's like talking about like, I know I didn't just stay over for them and they didn't just smile on my face knowing they were going to fire me or lay me off. I was like, I'm sorry, so-and-so, but yeah, they probably did. Sorry. But that had happened. And I remember driving into work the next day, pretty much ready to just hand my badge in at the security shack, because I was like, there's no way that I'm not going to get laid off or fired. But somehow I made it through, but it was very scary. I remember rolling up, stopping at the gate. The security guard on duty had basically taped a flashcard of like 20-something names onto his flashlight. And he was just kind of scanning with his eyes up and down it with the name on my badge. He's like, sorry, man, I'll try to remember your name. But they got me firing like 1 trillion people. It's kind of bogus. I'm like, yeah, I understand, man. It's no big deal. And that happened. I drove in and, they hid in their offices for like 2 fucking weeks. All the management fucking hid in their offices. Like, they were like not available, man. And like the plant manager, I want to say he wasn't even there. I don't know. But that's kind of when the tide started turning, and you could see a certain clique of individuals that were definitely starting to gain a little more leverage within the company at an alarming rate. So, we had a pretty solid quality control department beforehand. There was never a manager beforehand, but the friend of this one person that became a manager when everything kind of went to hell, they were also a lead, and they got bumped up to this quality control manager position. And then they demoted one of the original QC ladies, and she quit the next day. And then randomly, this mechanic that I had a good relationship with, he was just a good guy, funny electrician type, he quits one morning. And it's, I was talking to someone else, and they're like, look, there's a lot of changes. And it's kind of getting to a point where, like, you can't really pretend to play nice anymore. And you might have to, like, get off the pot, and some people just can't take it anymore. Can't really blame them, I mean, this is getting ridiculous. The procedures change at the drop of a hat. The accountability is wild. You know, they just randomly throw more paperwork on you out of nowhere. I mean, guys, this is just getting fucking ridiculous. I love being a line lead, but I can't justify, and this is why we're getting to the next part of this video here. I'm asking to step down. I'm asking to step down because I can no longer justify running an assembly line, running my normal crew, and training 3 new hires at the same time when I'm making the same amount of money as the people that are on their first day there getting trained by me. I'll repeat that again. I run an assembly line with my regular crew while simultaneously training 3 new hires, while I am only making the same amount of money as the people on their first day. I'm being exploited. And, I heard about a raise one time, and I got a 3-day suspension, but I really proved myself, damn it. I really proved myself. I reconstructed my line. I had a solid second, a solid pack table, a solid stacker. And while that whole plant was down for a month and a half, who was the one running? Who was the one making the money? It was me and my second and my crew. And the forklift drivers bringing me the stuff. And the blenders making my liquid. That was it, man. And probably whatever goes on in the other plants. But we were the only line running continuously for a month and a half. Pushing numbers out. I didn't have a day where I didn't produce 10,000 or less bottles in that span. I was always 10,000 plus. Then they started messing with our line. Then they disbanded my line because we got too close. Then they took my second away from me and then threw me on another line. Then I didn't know if I was going to get demoted for like a week. Then they gave me that line, but then they threw me on another line. You see what I'm saying? It's not worth the money I make an hour. It's not worth the money I make an hour. We'll put it at that. I had a raise, but then everybody got bumped up, and I got kind of lost in the mix, right? But then I got promoted twice since then, and I heard about it once, and never heard about it again. Even while I was doing really good, I never heard about it again. And it just hit me one day. I think when I figured that out, when I finally sat down and just thought about it and realized that was kind of when the tide started to turn. I was like sitting there talking to some people, and they're like, yeah, dude, like, I make more than you. And you should be making like way more than me. There's people who get pulled into the office and just given raises. But I never. And the effort I put in, like, I don't want to toot my own horn, but I'm probably one of the hardest working motherfuckers there, if I choose to be. And lately, I'm getting burnt out. I'm slipping, because sure, you can compliment me all you want, but a nice saying and sweet words, they don't pay my bills. They don't put the food on the plate. They don't allow me to put more money aside. But getting that fair compensation sure would. But it's almost to the point now where I'm like, even if I had there would be no point. Absolutely no point, because honestly, like, the environment's just garbage. They don't like me because I won't play the game. And I won't get in with the right clique. And I decided, fuck you, I'm gonna do my own thing. Y'all are a bunch of fake ass motherfuckers. I made my own friends at work. And we're cool as fuck. And I love each one of them. And they're great people. And they don't deserve this either. And it's just sad to see a bunch of good fucking workers get fucked with all the time. That's really how I can sum this place up. Would be like a place where good people have a bad time and bad people have a good time. So, I don't know what to expect. I'm gonna go in Tuesday after the holiday and just ask to step down. And that's just gonna be that. Because I can't do it anymore. I can't play the stupid games with mean people. And certainly not for the money I'm making. Nah. So I really wanted to see how far I could go, but at a certain point, I think this summer it just got too stressful, and that's why I decided I need to relocate. And if I have to get another job in between then, because they fire me for wanting to step down, first and foremost, that's on them, because they fired a fantastic fucking worker. Truly, they're retarded. Sorry, I'm a millennial. Yeah, this is another example of a good employee who's burnt out, and I'm going to ask to step down and quiet quit, do nothing outside of my job description, and just look for the next fucking thing. Because if this place thinks they're going to exploit me anymore, they can kiss my nuts. That's all I gotta say. Peace.